Vince Coglianese, editorial director at the Daily Caller, joins me now on Skype. Vince, welcome back. Always great to speak with you.
Thank you.
Front and center today, of course, is the issue of whether this impeachment trial of former President Trump is constitutional, that is. Having heard the arguments from both sides, what are your thoughts on this, Vince?
Well, this is obviously a big deal. Look, let me just stipulate at the beginning of this, we know how this conversation ends. Democrats control the Senate, so therefore they are going to move ahead today by saying, look, this trial is constitutional. It can move forward. But the big game here is for the Republican side of the aisle, or at least Donald Trump's lawyers, to convince the Republicans inside the Senate not to support the Democrat effort to convict the president. And they're doing that in two ways. One, they're arguing the merits of the case itself, suggesting that President Trump did not incite violence. In fact, he called on the supporters that were there on January 6th to peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard. That was one of the quotes from his speech. Additionally, they're going to argue about the constitutionality of this, as you're talking about. They're going to point out that the Constitution's prescription for impeachment and conviction is built specifically to going after current office holders. That is not the state of affairs we find ourselves in today. This is about the former president of the United States. And one of the other arguments that Trump's lawyers are making is that by using the power of the Senate to punish a private citizen, that also runs afoul of another constitutional provision called a bill of attainder. No bills of attainder may be passed by the Constitution, which is another way of saying nobody can be punished by the legislature in America. That has to be done in a court of law.
Yeah, Vince, I don't know if you saw this or not, but Republican lawyer Charles Cooper in a Wall Street Journal opinion piece wrote this in part, quote, given that the Constitution permits the Senate to impose the penalty of permanent disqualification only on former office holders, it defies logic to suggest that the Senate is prohibited from trying and convicting former office holders. What do you think on that, about that? Do you think that's a valid point?
I think it's a valid part of a robust debate going on right now in the legal community. There is definitely no settled opinion on this. His opinion clearly considered authoritative among many. But the other side of this is Judge Michael Luttig, who is a conservative jurist who's come out and said, no, this is unconstitutional. And the reason is because he's not a sitting president of the United States. So if the impeachment itself is unconstitutional, the sentences by extension would also be unconstitutional. Again, it's a robust debate. We know how it settles, though, at least today. Democrats are going to move forward with it anyway. The real challenge will be on the constitutional question is if President Trump ever decides to run for office again in the future, should he be convicted in this Senate trial, then that would start a chain of cases that could get up to the Supreme Court about what the Senate is doing right now and whether or not it was ever constitutional to begin with.
Yeah, Vince, we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to talk about this. Someone who's not there today is Chief Justice John Roberts. Let's talk about that. Your thoughts?
Well, this goes right to the points we were just talking about. The Chief Justice is the official that's supposed to be presiding over a trial of the President of the United States. That's in the Constitution. The Chief Justice is to preside over an impeachment of the President. This is not the President. This is the former president of the United States. And I expect what's going to happen today is that the president's lawyers are going to point this out as a way to assist their argument, to say, look, the Constitution is really clear about the arrangement for how we impeach a president, and the Chief Justice is supposed to be a part of it. And if you're telling us right now that the Chief Justice is optional right now, whether he's here, that kind of gives the game away. We are not impeaching a current president of the United States.
All right, Vince, we're going to leave it right there. I'm sure we're going to talk to you pretty soon about this. Vince Coglianese, editorial director at the Daily Caller. Thank you again, Vince. Always appreciate your analysis.
Thank you. Very good to be here.